Now feel the energy and send them ahead.
Perfect. I'm in a little, I'm actually in a different location. So my setup isn't like exactly what I'm used to. So I'm a little missing my extra screen, and a lot of little things. So I'm in the mood and actually in a really grounded mood today because I spent most of my day outside. So I feel really good. I'm not sure. As I was tapping into the energy, it's kind of all over the place. There's calmness, anxiety, fear, worry. It's all of it. And that would be normal based on what everyone and everything that's happening with us and around us. And it's really interesting because I got a lot of emails the last few days and a lot of calls of people finding out um, uh, that thanks, thank you. That a lot of people are not feeling well, or they're hearing that people aren't feeling well. And I have had a few people who are really worried about people, and they said, "Well, I can't join the call today because I just got some bad news and I can't even concentrate. I want to be left alone." In those times, these is times we kind of need this types of calls where sometimes we feel so bad we don't want to feel better, but we really want to get rid of that frustration, worry, sadness from our field so we can vibrate higher, so we can hold that light and send positive energy for the people that we're worried about. Or it could be a worldwide thing that we're worried about, or we're not worried, we're worried about the future and worried about this, and we're worried because when we're in a state of worry, we're worrying. So we're not in present moment. So you're not in your power. So your vibration kind of goes off. And a lot of people who have been kind of playing with vibration can tell when their vibration's off. So your vibration, when you're feeling happy and inspired and positive, you can almost feel it. When I get really high, it's like the world just looks like it's in different color. It's like HD times whatever. It's just vibrant colors. And I love that feeling. I'm not always there, so I try to get there because I love that feeling. But you can kind of sense it in your own body. Or if I'm not feeling good, first thing that'll show up is a slight scratchy throat. And I'm like, oh, okay, something's off here. And it could be something that I heard, or, I do get quite a few emails. And when I hear things, it does sadden my heart. And then I have to kind of step out of it because if I allow all that information to kind of start lowering my vibration, really what I'm doing is I'm not helping anyone. So it's tricky. It's so tricky, especially when it's a loved one that's not feeling good, or a pet that's not feeling good, or a coworker, or someone that you know. And then it can get still intense when it's even a bigger thing. Like, are we safe? Are we gonna wake up and there's gonna be like nastier things happening? What I do know in my heart is that the light is winning on this planet. It's 100%. It's hands down. We are in the ascension process. We are going to make it, and we can't see it because it's all happening in the background. It's just like when you get energy work done, or when you're doing self work on yourself. So you're doing this self work, but you're really not noticing a huge change in your actual day to day reality. But trust that there's so much happening in your field. So as I'm chipping away stuff and chipping away stuff and chipping away stuff on myself, I would get frustrated all the time thinking, oh my gosh, I'm doing all this work and I'm not gaining anything. Well, then I would start looking at my world. I said, you know what? Maybe that's not true. Because if I looked at my life at a whole, there have been slight changes and very slight changes at the beginning. Like this person who used to be mean to me is actually smiling at me lately. Or lately, when I do something, there's a little more ease when I'm doing it. Or I'm noticing I didn't think so many negative thoughts about myself today. I was a little bit nicer to myself. And really, we want to start to work on our self love because it's love that holds this universe together. It's just the glue, it's very exciting. We're hearing that term a lot because there's this unified field, and all this great information is now being backed by science. So, like that music I played, Be Love, Be You. I love that. So if anyone's interested, and I think what I will do is when I send out the email, the thank you for joining email, I am going to send out two links because there are two songs that I find no matter what kind of mood I'm in, if I replay them over, my vibration just skyrockets higher. One is the Be You, Be Love, and that is actually in that movie, the Unity, what's that called movie, Unity Field, or the one field. It's a movie called The One Field. I have a link to that if anyone's interested. It's really neat because all that stuff I talk about, it's all that stuff that's known about the quantum field and the unity field and the human consciousness and how we affect each other by our thoughts. And they've put it with the science behind it in a really nice documentary. I've watched it once or twice already, and I really love it because there's a lot of the guys and girls that I used to follow and still do. A lot of people who are leading edge, like Bruce Lipton. I think I read his book many, many years ago. And I said, hey, I learned this university, but he's talking about this being the like science of how it works. And that kind of started opening my eyes to, well, maybe what I learned wasn't right. So that kind of was shocking to me because back in the day, I I would say that I was kind of like, okay, my left brain, go to university, learn this, and then I'm now being told what I'm learning wasn't 100% right, and then that kind of like kind of shook me a bit because how can what I'm learning in one school not be right in another way of thinking? So I just learned to be a little more open minded and listen and not take everything right away, although I have in the past listened to some things right away, saying, oh, that must be true because this person knows so much more than me. And a lot of things that you're told are not the truth. So that's where, like, even what I'm saying, it may not resonate with you, and that's okay because we all have our own truth. So sometimes you have to kind of go in your heart and say, okay, if I'm listening to this and it's making me feel very uncomfortable, then why am I feeling uncomfortable? Is it because it's not true? Or is it because it's not my truth? Or is it making me uncomfortable because it's something that's challenging my belief system? So whenever I hear something that doesn't feel right, I kind of want to know why I'm not feeling it. Like, is it something I need to learn? Is it something I'm resistant to learn? Or is it just plain not my truth? And sometimes, like if a politician's talking, well, I get a certain rhythm in my heart that says, oh, no, no, what he's saying is not true. And I know that because I now know the signals of my body and how my body feels when something's like a pure lie coming into me, or something that's there to scare me and or add fear into my life. Or is it something that, okay, I'm a little bit not sure about this, but it's because I'm resistant to learning something new. So there's a little uncomfortableness. But it's taken me a long time to understand my body and how I feel about things because many years ago, I didn't even know the difference between anxiety and excitement, sadness or happiness. I was numb to any of my feelings. So I had to relearn Brenda. And that old Brenda that existed once upon a time, I love her to death, but I'm glad I'm not her anymore. But she helped me become who I am. And maybe in 2 years from now, I'll look back and say, wow, I love that Brenda, the one from 2022, but I'm not her anymore. So we're always shifting, growing, learning, and our journey is what it is. It's our own self journey. And really the trick that I've learned the most is that love is the answer. And it's self love, because as we start to love ourselves, then we can truly love and really enjoy everything around us. And when we're starting to vibrate higher, then we're allowing love to come in. Because how many of us, and I was one, that I loved everyone and everything, but I didn't love Brenda. And I suffered so much inside, smiling anxiety or smiling depression. No one would know I was sad. I was smiling to the world, but inside I was falling apart. So it wasn't until I started to really pull out the layers and just really change my perception about me and say, okay, you know what? I love myself. And now I can truly look in the mirror and say, I love you, Brenda. But I know you still have ways to go. I know we still have, it's a journey of getting to whatever state, but I don't think we stop in this lifetime. But the beautiful thing is in this new energy that we're in, anything that we gain, anything that we learn, our soul's progress, we get to take it to our next lifetime. So I'm just going to keep going as far as I can go. I do self something every day, whether it's only 20 minutes because I've been really busy or 3 hours. I put that time aside for Brenda. You know why? Because I'm worth it. And I used to not give myself any time. But if I don't give myself that love and that work, when I say work, what does that mean? Okay, I might take some time to say some affirmations. I may write a little note or a journal to say what's great, what do I appreciate in my life. I may just sit and just really embellish how my body feels and tell my body how much I love it. I might tap. I sometimes I'm doing tapping because I'm feeling something bubbling up I don't like, so I'll tap that away. Or I might just do something like a relaxing bath, a walk, a silent walk, something grounding outside. But I will give my time to myself every day because I love myself. And whereas before I wouldn't. And I stand up for myself. So, not meaning that I don't send love to everyone, but I'm going to send love to everyone, but I'm not going to allow those people that bring me down in my life. I can't, because I am now protecting myself. I'm being selfish. So if I have somebody who's always antagonizing me, whether there's someone that should be in my life or not, I'm not going to give that person my attention, because all that bad energy towards me is going to start to make me feel wobbly. Then I'm going to have self-doubt, and then this great momentum I have going on is going to like kind of crumble. And it's that feeling great, feeling down, feeling great, feeling down. It's like this roller coaster ride. And that roller coaster ride can be very frustrating. Why can't we just feel happy all the time? And I see it in some people. They just are always happy. I can keep it going now. Well, I used to look back thinking, how can that person always look so happy and everything goes right for them? They must have the best luck. It has nothing to do with luck. I now understand that. It has to do with self love. And that person wasn't just born lucky, that person has done work. And there's so many people that you see at one point in their life that were struggling and now things are moving. If you talk with them, they'll give you their tips and tricks that they use to get to that place of self-love. And we all can go through different routes, and that's why there's so many people coming out with different modalities out there, different methods, different ways of thinking, mindfulness, do this, do that. If we were to look and do everything, it'd be like, oh, I can't keep up. So the reason there's so many different varieties is because we're all very unique. So some people are going to like this, and some people are going to feel something like this resonates, and this resonates. And what I do is I have this toolbox, and in my toolbox, there's many different things I can pull out and use to make myself feel better. But some days, something doesn't feel right, so I need to use this. And other days, this feels right, and I use this. And sometimes I come across a brand new thing that someone's doing, and I know to me, no, it's not working for me. And someone say, oh, I use this method, it's amazing, you got to try this. Okay, great. We're not one size fits all. So you can say, hey, listen to this girl, Brenda. She talks like this. They can listen to me and say, oh my God, I can't handle this chick. She's driving me nuts. That's okay. I'm just not there for everybody, and that's completely okay. And we outgrow teachers as well. I've outgrown a lot of teachers. Doesn't mean I've outgrown them, I'm better than them. I love them and I'm still in contact with them, and I honor them, but maybe we're just a little bit different now. So there's no right or wrong. But when I'm working with someone, I just actually, there's about 2 or 3 clients that I just felt like I wasn't really getting anywhere. So I'll refer someone out because it's just there's something there. It's not clicking. Maybe their trust level, but it's really the person healing is they're healing themselves. So it could be a thought pattern that's not, it's not coming into play where they don't think they can heal. So a lot of people will continue healing, continue healing, continue healing, and not really making tons of progress. Well, sometimes you need a different method. Sometimes you need to go another way in. Sometimes you need someone to say things something differently. For me, I'm type of person who needs the straight dead truth. Just give it to me straight. What am I doing wrong? And a lot of people will sugarcoat things, which is kind of nice during the beginning of the journey when you need that sugar coating. But as you kind of like, I want to know, it's like, what's in my way? I know I'm in my way, but what am I doing wrong in my life to get over that hump? So if someone gives it to you straight, now some people will take that and go, oh my God, that really hurt my heart. That was so hurtful. But I look at it like, wow, that hurt. But I kind of step away from it. I let it process, and it ends up being the best learning of my life. And then because now I can see my issue, I'm looking at it and, okay, Brenda, this is your issue. Now, how am I going to resolve my issue? How do I move forward through it? So there's a lot of us out there that are in these patterns, and the pattern and the pattern. I was one of them. I had this one pattern that I could not break. And I went through one healer, another healer, another healer, another healer. And I went in within and I prayed and I asked, okay, how do I break this pattern? Because I know it's there, but I don't really understand it. Well, then I met someone and the pattern was made very clear in a very blunt way. But what happened was I was finally able to overcome it. So, it's just, you kind of go to the next step when you're ready. So if you're fed up of something that's bothering you, then ask the universe, what is my next step? And if you're really passionate, if you really want to know, and if your soul, which I believe says, yes, you're ready, it's going to give you that answer. But sometimes the answer can be very humbling, can be very embarrassing. So when you're looking in, I remember like there's been many patterns I had to break. And I remember there was one quite a few years ago, and I couldn't sleep. And it was so bizarre because whenever I ask for something, I get it. So I'm laying in bed and I go, okay, what is it? I'm ready to know why I did all that stuff. So I woke up, and I rarely wake up at night. I go turn on the TV, and there's some doctor, some psychologist talking about patterns and this and this. And he's talking about his book. And I'm like, I was really intrigued, and I wouldn't normally be intrigued by this guy talking. And it's something, but my inner self said, you need to read this book. He's talking to you. So I'm like, wow, okay. So then I read the book, and it was very embarrassing to read it. And actually, I had quite a few tears. So I'm like, I'm just in a textbook. I am just a typical textbook explanation here. And I'm just like, wow, I would have never thought of myself that way. So it was very humbling. It hurt. It hurt. But that was a part of me releasing. So it's okay to have embarrassment, sadness, resentment, anger, frustration, but we're human. So, there's that, who's going to throw the first stone at someone? Yeah, the first person who has no issues, who've done nothing wrong. We're human. We live in this world. It's not the easiest place to live. Some of us, do a little bit better than others. It's a very hard place to live. So when you start to look in and start to clear your stuff, it's a process. It is a self-healing process. It is something that, yes, you can use the aid of someone else. And like I said, why, if we can all self-heal, why do we need someone else to help us? It's because it's like a construction worker. They have the means to heal themselves, but they need the power tools to help them get through the job. And sometimes these methods are just the power tools to help us go into places that we may not be able to release or get into. But the neat thing is, once you kind of let go of something, then you're kind of like feeling lighter, and then something new will present itself. So it's like we're almost tackling one issue, and then when we're ready, we go to the next issue. And when we're ready, we go to the next issue. Sometimes in my head, it seems like I'm playing a video game. And I look at this world as this video game where, okay, I made it to one level. Now I'm ready. I'm gonna work really hard on this level to go to the next level. And when I get to that level, I'm gonna really work hard and go to that level. But there's just something inside me that has I'm motivated, determined, enthusiastic, and inspired to work on me. Because I now know the feelings of feeling good. And when I wasn't feeling good and doing work on myself, it seemed a bit tougher, but I had this inner thing that says, just keep going, just keep going. But I used to say, why am I doing this? It feels so hard. It feels so like so far out. But if I didn't do it, it'd be 12 years later and I would still be there. And we all know those people in our lives that you go talk to them after seeing them for 10 years and they're still talking the same way, talking about the same stuff. And you're like, wow, they haven't changed at all because that's their comfort level and they're just not ready. And that's okay. But when I look at someone like that, I'm just like, wow, I then see how much I changed because I don't notice I've changed because change is gradual. It's something I can handle for myself. Your soul is only going to allow you to change on what you can handle. There are some people that are gradual changers, and that's what I was. But there are some people who go bang, 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 and it just transform in front of your eyes. It's like, wow. For me, it was quite the journey. I'm still working on it, and there's nothing wrong about it. Sometimes I have a little bit of sadness or regret or frustration. Like, why did I work with that person? You know, I don't feel like they did justice on me, or why didn't I know that before? Or you know, when you look at your kids and they know so much more, like they're so much more open. And I think, wow, if I knew what my kids knew at age 20, my life would have been phenomenal. I would have missed all that crap I went through. But maybe all that crap is what I needed to go through my experiences. So then I forgive myself, I love myself, and I move forward. So loving yourself, having those feelings bubble up. You know, I did a forgiveness meditation. I do some corporate talks. And, you know, when you're dealing with corporate, you need to talk differently. I can't talk the way I talk on these calls. But I guided them through a forgiveness meditation. It was very interesting because a lot of people who've never felt anything inside were saying, I felt like all these emotions coming up and I was crying. Is that normal? And I'm like, yeah, it is normal, but we're taught, you know, repress your emotions, stay strong, move forward. You have work to do, you have a career, you have this, you have that. But it's stuck in our field then, right? We have some memories of it, it's there. So as you start this healing journey, sadness comes out, frustration, anger, resentment, it all comes out. And it's uncomfortable because one, we're told, you know, we shouldn't have these emotions, and B, it's uncomfortable because like, it feels gross. You know, your body can feel it, your emotions are coming out. You might get frustrated and snappy at your family, the ones you love, but that's part of the healing. So sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit off, I'll just tell my kids and my family, hey guys, I'm not feeling my best today. I'm definitely going through something right now. I'm releasing. Just bear with me, you know, just kind of like be kinder to me today. And at that point, my sons would pick on me more because they love the reaction that they would get because I was a little more not so level headed, let's say. I'm like, okay, guys, seriously, stop. And they thought it was funny, but they knew that was kind of my healing. Okay, fine, they're my kids, they can pick on me. But it can be very frustrating when you're going through something and someone's like teasing you. So, you know, you just ask your family to honor you. And if they're like, oh, you're so grumpy, hey, something's coming up. And if I just repress it back, it's going to present itself again for a later healing. So I honor every emotion I have, any interaction I have with a person that either made me uncomfortable or hurt my feelings or whatever. I look at it and say, what is it in me that made me that brought this into my existence, my, you know, how did why am I going through this? And if I look at it, okay, what's the learning, what am I ready to release? And I know it can be frustrating, but I look at everything that I do at the end of the day to say, okay, why did I act this way when this happened? What is it in me that needs to be released? And I will honor it and allow it to go. And simply all I say is, these feelings I'm having that are making me uncomfortable today, I honor them. I don't have to know exactly what age something happened, or was it a past life, or was it this, or what is it that. That's the story behind everything. And when we get into healing, that can be a little bit exciting. It's almost like going down the rabbit hole of getting like, I want to know why I'm feeling this and why I'm feeling that. And some people, and including me, I went through this period where I really got wrapped up of, I want to know everything. Why did this? Why? And then I came to a point where when I started going into that route, I wasn't getting better. And it's actually something that Dr. Beatty taught me during beam therapy. She said, Brenda, you don't need to know what you're releasing. Just let it go. And I did that for many years. But there was a part of me that became curious. Is it a past life? Is it this? And I kind of took a different route for a bit and started investigating, which I thought was very cool. And then what I realized is getting deep into like, why is this happening? Why is that? Was actually defeating the purpose of healing. So then I kind of did a full circle back to, let's release as much of this stuff that we can. We don't have to understand it. We don't have to know where it's coming from. It's like releasing layer after layer after layer. If you're meant to know something, your guides, your spirit guides, your soul is going to let you know. So, for instance, even today during our healing session, you might have anger and sadness come up. You don't have to remember where it came from. Just honor it. Say, I'm ready to let it go. I'm letting it go. I honor the feelings. I'm letting them go. But if you're meant to know something, they're going to give you an indication of what it is. Maybe you'll have a memory, a feeling, or just a knowing of what's releasing, if it's beneficial for you. But I feel our guides, these beautiful beings that are helping us heal, are letting us release tremendous amounts of stuff with only knowing very little or even knowing none of it. And that's where it's so beautiful. If you just embrace that and say, I'm going to release all this garbage that I no longer need, and just let it shift away. And it leaves and it doesn't come back. So you're going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. And what's in that icky layer that we're releasing? Oh my gosh, thousands of things. And I can give you lists I've learned, bang, 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 bang. It's endless. And sometimes it can even sound scary, but who cares? We don't want to give it any power. We don't want to just get scared from it. No, we're human, and the human has gone through thousands of years with a fear-based consciousness on this planet. We also have light within us. So what we're doing is we're releasing that darkness, the dense energy, the patterns of fear and worry and self-sabotage and all of that. We're releasing, chipping away, chipping away. As we chip away that dense energy, we are anchoring more light. And what we're really doing is bringing heaven on earth. So we're doing that slowly, and we're being kind to ourselves. And we're taking that time for inner reflection to say, I matter. I'm going to work on me. And that's really what we're doing. And you just chip away and on your own timeline, and where you are is beautiful and where you are is perfect and evolving. Just honor it and love it, and just be kind to yourself in any day. So you might feel sick, you might feel tired, emotional, sad. That's okay. Just honor yourself. Say, hey, this is what I'm feeling like today. Or if you've been in some type of sickness that you're still in, well, people will say, but I've done all this work and I'm still sick and it's so frustrating. I get it. I do get it. And the thing is, you just want to talk to that body of yours and say, I know you can heal. There's a really great phrase I heard from someone, and it was, talk to every cell and tell every cell that you honor them. You love your skin cells and your blood cells and your hair cells. And you know, if they're having a tough time, you're going to give them an option. Either they're going to die away, those cells, and come back healthy in you, or they're going to become healthy. So I'm not going to tell my cells what to do. They know best. but I'm going to tell them I love them. I'm going to tell them I know they can be healthy. And if there's a part of my body that's working, like I can see good, or I can walk, or I can talk, those cells are working. There's parts of me that work. So the rest of my body can follow suit and get this body into working order 100%. And then honor the transition, because how long did it take you to get sick? Before, let's say we get a cold, it can take, say, 10 to 15 days. It goes through our field, right? It's coming in, coming in, coming in. Then it hits our physical body. Now you need to heal. So how long does it take to get rid of a cold? Well, we got to push out the physical out of our field, right? So it takes time. So if someone comes to me, well, I've been feeling like this way for 10 years. Well, okay, some people do have this miraculous healing. I've seen it. But there's other times where it's more gradual. And that's okay. So just honor that body for healing and thank it and say, every day I'm getting better and better. And I'm going to give you those two songs like I mentioned, because I find they're very high vibrating and very healing. So my body, if I feel like a little off, I just play them 2 or 3 times. And there's this really cute lady and she's dancing in one of the videos. And by the end of it, I'm dancing with her and I'm having so much fun. She's so cute. She's giggling. I said, I love this woman. She's so sweet. And she just giggles all the time. I don't giggle quite as much, but I love seeing people giggle. So, because that just makes me laugh. I see her laughing, I'm laughing. When we see people sad, we're sad. So, I get it. Just try to keep that. Oh, wow. My clock is telling me it is 9 o'clock. I've been talking way too long. Let's get on with this healing. All right. Okay, that's hilarious. Okay. Yes, exactly. So someone just put in, actually, let me just check out the chat box before we go. So yeah, so I'm setting out the links, and the other one is yeah, that's another one. You can say, I command all my atoms of my body in the right action. That we do have an innate smart body. We only use 30% of it, the average human. As we start to raise our consciousness, and what does that mean? It's that self work. It's getting rid of that dense energy, those bad thinking patterns, replacing them with love and light. And we start to kind of like really engage this innate smart body we have. We all have it. And what it does, it starts to act like this virus scanner, and any cell that's not in play is focused on or ignored. It stops giving it stops feeding it. So that's why I believe, and I don't know this for 100%, I'm just going by my intuition here, is that's how we can have spontaneous remission in 3 or 4 days. There's two ways I can think of it. One, it's because that smart body got activated, saw the bad cells, and stopped feeding them. In 3 or 4 days, they pass away. It's like they were never there. The other one is, well, it's kind of too complicated to explain it, but whatever the reason is, it is that innate body within you that is doing the healing. So things like this really get that stimulated. It's like raising the vibration. Everything's looking, say, okay, let's send this light in to go and find out what's happening in our body. And then we just add permission. I give permission for my healing. I give permission because I love myself. I give my permission to be healthy. I give my permission because I deserve to be healthy. And the more affirmations you say, the stronger it gets. I do daily affirmations every day. There's not a day where I don't do at least probably 3 hours in my head. If I'm not talking to my kids or a client, I'm talking to my guides, sending out affirmations. So it kind of almost sounds insane as I do it so much, but it's just so natural. So that's over time, that's just what's happened. So I'm always in the flow of sending something out or receiving. And if I find I'm worrying about something, I may use another tool to get that worry out and release it. Okay, I'm going to stop talking now. But thank you, everyone. I love the chat box. It gets me a little excited to read everything here. Okay, perfect. All right, I'm going to play the music and we're going to start. The one thing I don't have today is I did not bring my bowl. So this is just very quickly. This is the the property I bought. I'm gonna call it the farmhouse, because we're in the country with windmills and it's very peaceful and the energy is very peaceful. But we're in the midst of renovations and it's not nearly totally set up yet. I don't have my office, so I don't have my singing bowls and stuff here. But the energy here is so incredibly calming and beautiful. So I feel very recharged. It's going to be phenomenal today. I do not have the bowl, so I'm just going to add some extra hand movements to release the energy at the end. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to start. I'm going to drink some water. For anyone that is new on the call, I may see one or two names here. Yeah, I should have did this at the beginning, but I just assume most of you are regulars. So sorry for that. What we're gonna do is I'm going to start sending in, well, that's not me. I just allow this beautiful energy to come through. And really we are working all together. You are the healer. So your higher self is going to take whatever you need. So it can heal at a physical level, a mental level, an emotional level, or all of them. If you're worrying about someone in your life, and there's a lot of people that are saying, hey, so and so sick, this is that, this is what's happening. Okay, this is your time to ask this energy that's flowing to be sent to that person. May they feel that love. May their higher selves take whatever's needed for their healing. We're all on our own journey. So we can't force someone's higher self to take the energy. We can only make it available. So a lot of people will say that, hey, my kids didn't join the call, but after the call, they feel so much lighter. Well, it's because it's being available to your friends and your family, people in your house, pets. We clear your house as well. Thing is, it's up to them to take it. So young children easily take it, pets easily take it, animals love this stuff. So, you can all feel lighter afterwards. This energy will work for 4 or 5 days. So drink lots of water and keep giving permission. Just say, hey, you know what? I know this energy's here. It's doing its thing. Allow it. I allow it and I accept it and I deserve it. And just go from there. Okay. So I'm going to add in a few minutes because I talked again. Okay. Not that I haven't talked enough all day, but okay, here we go. Let's start playing some music. I'm going to share it. Sorry, it's really loud here. Give me a sec here. Now, I'm not going to talk during this one today. So I want this music to balance out so you hear the music and not necessarily me. Actually, I'm going to start with this song instead. Okay. All right, here we go, everyone. May you have a beautiful healing today. May that love penetrate so deeply to every cell of your body and just say, I deserve my healing and whatever that is for you. I love you all. Let's go with this and let's get this done. The music level's okay? to an end. I'm just clearing out my energy, kind of what the bowl would do. At this point, you can just hang up and go have a peaceful sleep. That was the intention put out. Everyone's in a bubble of liquid love, and it will stay with you, I think, forever. Just tap into it. Just take a few deep breaths and say, I'm in my bubble of love, liquid love, and it's there. So this energy is going to keep doing what it needs to do. I'm feeling very lightheaded. It was pretty intense, but beautiful. I'm going to drink some water. Okay. I'm just going to shut this off here. Okay. If anybody has any questions, you can put it in the chat box. I think I'm going to leave it at being very quiet. I'm just going to go through, make sure I didn't miss anything. There's a lot of good notes in the chat box. There we go. Okay. All right, everyone. I'm gonna let it. There's no questions. I think everyone. What can we do to keep? Okay. To keep your high vibration. First, when you're in that high vibe, you want to stay there. And the best way to stay there is notice anything that's going to throw you off. You know, personally, we're all very different, but when I'm high vibing, um, generally that's when I get interference come at me harder, because it doesn't like when we're high vibing, because we're adding so much love to the universe and dissolving the darkness on the earth. So if I'm sending out, say if I'm getting into a place where I'm just sending out so much love and I'm so happy, well, I'm going to get somebody send me some link that's not very fun to look at. I'm going to get a phone call that's not so nice. You know, somebody might be off and they kind of like, there's so many different things. Or let's say you get cut off on the road, little things. Or a negative thought comes in, like, oh, Brenda, what are you thinking? You're not good enough for this. Give up. You know, those things, that's not coming from our connected light self. It's interference coming in to throw us off of our high vibe. So in those cases, you're acting like a virus scanner. So you want to be paying attention all the time. So if something negative happens, I don't let it take me down. I will ask either Archangel Michael, my guides, the universe, the love to come and dissolve any negative thoughts. That negative thought that just said, Brenda, you suck. Yeah, dissolve that, because it's false. I don't suck. None of us sucks. We're magnificent beings. And I am a magnificent being, and I hold that power within me because I am connected to God, because we are a part of God. Right. So it's I talk through a lot of those emotions. But let's say somebody will say something that, you know, kind of throws me off my game. Again, that person's coming from a place where they're not feeling good. So let's send them love, and I'm not taking what they said personally. But let's say it's something bigger. You're in lots of pain and you're trying to stay high vibe, but then this annoying pain comes back. Well, that's when you say, hey, listen, body, I love you, and I'm just going to keep infusing you with love, because I'm going to stay happy no matter what. So it's kind of, there's self-talk, affirmations, but it's almost like, you know, everything's teaching us nowadays to be aware in present moment. Meditation teaches present moment. Really, that's what meditation is. It teaches you present moment. I'm aware. When I'm aware and in present moment, then I know when something is coming into my field that should not be there. So it's very interestingly, because if I am starting to think, have my mind do this, right? I go worry about, say if this doesn't happen, say if this doesn't happen. Well, now because I'm worrying, I'm not in present moment. Now negative thoughts are coming in, and all of a sudden my vibration is lowering. The more you're playing with this, the more you can tell when your vibration is lowering. Because one, some people will have a physical sensation. And once you start to kind of get feelings of feeling good, feeling bad, how does that feel for me? So I know my body now. It took me a while, but the first thing that kind of will happen is my skin will get itchy if I'm irritated. I will get a scratchy throat. That's kind of the first thing that I am not in alignment. I'm starting to lose my vibration. It's starting to come down. And that's when I take that self time for me. That's when I say, okay, everyone, I need to stop. And of course, sometimes we're in a meeting and you can't just say, okay, my vibration's dropping. I need to go. So sometimes I'll just shut off my camera if I'm in a meeting. I'll put my hand on my chest and make slow circles to my left shoulder and say, I am love. I love myself. And that will help me kind of bring present and bring myself into present moment. So it's taking that time, being like a virus scanner for any negativity. Why did that person yell at me? Well, probably it's their problem, not mine, but they're not going to throw off my game. So it's practice. And sometimes what happens is you're practicing and then we kind of mess up and we get mad at ourselves because I let that person throw me out of alignment. Especially, listen, we live with people in our houses. Not everyone's on the same spiritual path as you, and you can't force anyone to be on the same spiritual path. So if you're in a household where people think you're crazy for what you're doing, or they get frustrated because you're happy all the time, because when you're high vibing, someone in your household that's not high vibing is going to get irritated, and your high vibration irritates them, and they will come at you to, because they don't want you to be high vibe. They don't want you to feel bad with them. It's human nature, you know. It's not like they're a bad person. It's just the way things work, right? So it's practicing, so you can use your household as the best practice possible. So, you know, I honor my exes for giving me such a hard time because I was able to stay high vibe in the midst of, you know, not such nice things. So really great practice. So whatever any experience that we're in, you know, and we say, oh, but it's so horrible, I'm living with family doesn't understand me or they make fun of me, just show them love and kindness, because they're not going to under, there's no sense in preaching and say, hey, go listen to this or listen to that, or you should know. Don't even, you cannot force someone this type of information. They're either going to come into their own. Some people may never come into in this lifetime, and that's okay because we're all on our own spiritual journey. So there's no right or wrong. But if you just show kindness, or at least not to go out of your way to do everything they want, but as they're, you know, don't take it personally. Usually when someone's coming at me, in my head, I'll say access denied, permission denied. I am protected by love and light. And I use that a lot when I hear things on the news. When I'm hearing something, some fear-based thing, sometimes I like to just kind of tap in and see what people are listening to. I will say access denied, permission denied. I am protected by love. Even when I'm driving and there's a message about COVID, you know, it's like, okay, give me a break. Access denied, permission denied. I am in love and light. I don't want anything negative coming in my field. I'm very protective of my field. So I'm selfish. So being selfish and taking care of you, because if you can take care of you and your light and your vibration is high, then you can take care of those around you. And right now, the most important thing is take care of you and your family as we go through this. Most importantly, you, because when you take care of you, you can be there for those who need it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through anything, see here if there's any other questions. I cut cords, everything. Okay, yeah, so that's another thing. So someone said that they, I think it's Lillian, yeah, okay, that they cut cords. So, um, that is a good thing to do. So let's say there is a family member in your life that's really triggering you. You can feel them, you know, that they have a pull on your heartstring. If you want, you can cut cords. You can cut cords that are not beneficial to you. That's all. Like, you're not going to cut your love cord to someone you love. We're going to cut my love cord, not like that. But let's say there's something that you're not liking. So usually, and even in these healings, we are asking in the background to cut anything that is no longer serving us. So whatever is beneficial, we keep. and whatever's negative we get rid of, in whatever aspect that is. So it's, you can make those special intentions for yourself. Affirmations, if you want affirmations, email me. Sometimes if you're telling me, kind of give me an idea of what your problem is, what you're struggling with. Generally I'll just get a download of an affirmation made specifically for a client. It just comes very naturally. So if you want one, if you're saying, okay, I'm having this issue, I'll give you an affirmation. If it feels good, then you use it. You can tweak it in any way. And sometimes when you're getting an affirmation, it feels like a lie. So let's say I'm in pain, I'm not feeling well. And I have been sick. I've had kidney problems in the past, and it's very painful, that annoying back pain. And all you want to think about is like that pain, it hurts. So say if I'm saying an affirmation, I'm feeling better and better every day, my body's healing. Well, it feels like I'm lying. My body's in super amounts of pain, I'm very sick, and I'm saying this. But at first it sounds like a lie, but all a belief is a thought that you say over and over. So you're just creating new beliefs, and in the meantime you're sending out those affirmations to the universe. The universe listens to anything you ask for. It's very interesting because we're having a problem. This is kind of off base, but this is where asking so important. We're having a problem with a pump and a sub pump, and like farm country is very different. You have septic tanks, different water supply. There's lots to learn. It's kind of overwhelming. So we're having a problem with one of these things in the barn, right? Okay, whatever. But we're trying everything, trying everything. And then we looked at each other and we said, why don't we just pray that it starts working? And then we just, went in, set up, and then we went to go turn it on. It was like there was no problem. It just started. And we laughed. It took us 2 days to realize, why don't we just ask for help? Why are we so stubborn? So it's asking for help. The universe is there. Because when I'm focusing on problem, oh, the pump's not working, the pump's not working, or my body's sick, my body's sick. What I'm doing is I'm adding that vibration to the universe. My body's sick. So yeah, okay, you're gonna get a sick body. Or the pump's not working. Okay, then the pump's not going to work. We are so powerful. And I think this is the problem with humanity. We don't know how powerful we are. But once you start to play with your words and your thoughts and how you feel, you're going to realize, if I think positive and say positive things, things start to move in a positive direction. When I start to feel sorry for myself, have regret, embarrassment, shame, or frustration, anger, what happens? My life starts to get into a more negative way. Now, it's tricky because we're human. So there's emotions and situations arise, and life can be complicated. But if you can't put a positive spin on something, just be neutral about it. Because every situation, in essence, is neutral. It's just a situation, it's just something that happens on planet Earth. Now, if I put a negative spin on something, I'm going to get a negative outcome because I'm almost asking for it. The universe doesn't read our exact words, it's reading our vibration, its thoughts. It's a combination of everything, right? So if I'm putting out fear, putting out this, what's happening is I'm going to get more of it. So if I'm not in a good mood, or if I'm feeling a little off, I do not ask the universe for anything, because what I just ask is, may I start to feel better? May I be filled with love and light? I work on me. So when I'm feeling down, or I'm upset or worried, I don't ask for, may this, and this happen, because my vibration is not in a good place to ask for these things. But what I do is I really focus my attention on my vibration and getting my body healthy again, and getting my place into a state of where I'm feeling better. But when you get to that place where you're feeling high and inspired, then ask away, because the universe is feeling, it's reading your vibration, your words. Is like bang. And when you're on, someone taught me, I forgot who it was, but it was many years ago. Someone said, when you're high vibing, you're on a different highway, and you're using different frequencies, and those frequencies aren't very, they're not busy because not many people use them. So the higher vibrational frequency you're on and you ask for something, It's almost can happen immediately because nobody else is on that highway, that high vibe. A lot of people are down here, but mind you, so the thing is, actually, now I'm thinking her analogy might have some flaws because if I'm using a low one where everyone is, I'm still getting the bad stuff and it happens pretty quick. So I don't know if I totally believe that, but what I do know is when I'm high vibing and I ask for something, it comes pretty fast because it's my vibrations high, my asking, and my focus. So another thing is most people don't focus and long enough for something to happen. We give up so easily. And that's where, you have, okay, you plant a seed in the soil. Well, we all know you give it water, soil, the seed's going to come out. And because we know that, we're patient and we wait for that seed to bloom. But when it comes to our desires, what we want to see our life, well, we don't know how long that is, and we don't always trust it. Not like it's not tangible. The seed growing from a thing, we know, but me getting what I desire, I don't know. So what happens is I'm thinking about something I want, I'm thinking, but it's getting closer and closer, and it's about to manifest, and people get so close, and then they just forget about their dream, and then it just does all the thing. Oh, I never get what I want. But if you stay on and focus and focus and focus and focus and focus, like you almost have like one track mind on something. And what happens is it just then materializes and you see it. And once you do it once or twice, and you know you can create what you want, then you become hooked on it. Little kids have this natural ability. How many of you know a child that said, like, I'll give my example of my daughter. It's just phenomenal. I see it in so many different kids. She'll say, Mom, I would love it if you bought me a balloon. You know, those helium balloons, whatever. It's okay. You know what? In the next week, I'll get you one, right? I'm just a little bit busy, whatever. So we end up going to a store. Out of the blue, some man comes and says, Hey, I have this balloon. Do you want it? And hands her a red helium balloon. And she looks at me. And I look at her. I'm like, and it happens with like kids when they ask for something, all of a sudden it comes to them because they haven't learned that I don't deserve it, I shouldn't have it, and things are impossible. They know things are possible, life is amazing, and things happen. So what we as adults have happened is we have had that taken away from us. So all we're relearning is how powerful we are. So it's doing something, seeing what works, doing something, seeing how it works. When I think this way, it's not so positive, things get worse. When I think this way, things are positive, I think this way. So you kind of jig it, feel your body, and work with it. You're learning you're going back to you. And this is something that no one can really teach you how you read yourself. That's just something you kind of have to play with. And it can be frustrating sometimes because I'm like, okay, my body's doing this, but I'm hearing this from someone I apparently trust, but my heart is telling me no. And that was the biggest thing for me, as I always thought I was like useless. Whatever I had to say meant nothing. I didn't know anything. And then somebody in who I looked up to, and I realized we're all at the same level field. No one's better than anyone else. But I looked up to someone and they're telling me something, but in my heart, it was saying, no, she's not right. But my mind saying, no, she is right. She's authoritative. She knows her stuff. So I then would not listen to my heart and listen to it usually led me through a wrong path. Generally, that's what would happen in my life. I would walk into danger usually or something stupid because I didn't listen to my own heart. So it was a big transition to start going, okay, this is what my mind's saying, but this is what my heart's saying. And once they start to align and you start to go through your heart intelligence, it'll lead you into a beautiful direction. So the more I practice it, I seriously, the shifts have changed because now I'm just listening to my heart. I don't care about the chatter going around. It's my heart I listen to. And sometimes it takes me into weird places. I'm like, and sometimes things change so quick, it freaks me out a little bit. So sometimes I have to say, okay, life is a little bit too quick. Can we slow it down a little bit? But then, sometimes I say, okay, I trust it. Let's just go. So I've learned to kind of just go without putting on brakes. But I used to go, then put on brakes, and then go a little bit, put on brakes, because I was just fearful that I wasn't doing the right thing. But now I just follow the way I feel emotionally, physically, mentally, and say, okay, it all feels good. I'm going for it. And that's it. It's just learning you. Okay, see, I started yapping again. Wow. Okay, let's see here. I'm just gonna look here and then, right. Oh yeah, there's a lot of like things, Yulian, you always have so much great information. I love listening to this stuff, and I like the stuff you send me too because it keeps me in the know because I've sometimes been so busy with the other stuff I'm doing right now that I'm not always in the know of everything. There's so many different ways of looking at things, right? So when you listen, you're listening to me, or you're reading the chat, or you're listening to something on YouTube, always go in your heart and say, "Is this my truth?" And again, if it's not feeling so good, figure out why. Is it really not my truth? Or is it something I'm scared to know? Is it something that I'm not ready to know? Is it something that goes beyond my scope of view? And it's kind of like teasing me to look beyond something that I'm uncomfortable with. And that's kind of the biggest thing. I was always pretty open-minded, but I was like this, and then I start stretching and stretching, and sometimes like, no, that can't be true, and I like this again, and oh, that sounds too weird. No, so you're kind of doing this. So we're just kind of learning ourselves. But once you start to let go of the limiting beliefs that we've learned through all this messaging growing up in this beautiful world of ours, you start to pull it out and go to that true essence of who you are. You realize we are unlimited, we are powerful, magnificent, and your thoughts can create whatever they are. But when we're dwelling on negativity, we're going to bring in negativity. If we're dwelling on why do I feel this way, why I want to figure it out, stop figuring out the why and say, I honor the feelings. I'm letting them go and just replace them with love and light. It's that left brain of ours. It still wants to know why. We all go through that. Trust me, I went through it. But what I found is I actually went into one of the worst parts of my life when I started asking too many whys. And then when I just trusted, believe, and know that I was on the right track and I'm going to follow my heart, then things start to say because the universe knew that I was trusting it, and I know it and I believe it. And that's just learning. So just go with your flow in your own heart. Okay, that was a long-winded question. I hope that helped. And with that, if there's no other questions, I will end it because we're almost at 10 o'clock on a Thursday. It's so cute. My daughter fell asleep on the floor, and it's very bright in the room. So she was trying to tell me to turn off the lights, right? I can't. I'm kind of stuck here. So I told her, wear your sleeping patch, her eye patch. She's like, oh, good idea. So she fell asleep peacefully on the floor. It's so cute. So I told her, go sleep in your bed, but she's like, no, I like listening. So I'm not sure how much she understands, but she's definitely getting it into her subconscious. So that's kind of cool. All right, everyone, have a peaceful night, and drink lots of water if you need it. And again, I did send the intention for a peaceful sleep, but some of you might be burping or releasing, and that's okay. That's just honor it. Just honor it. Say this is part of the healing, and I know I'm healing. I give permission to heal because you are magnificent. This energy is so intense for healing right now. So let it do its thing and just wake up vibrant and feeling good, and use positive thoughts about yourself, and look in the mirror and say, I love you, and say your name. I do it every morning. I look in the mirror and say, Brenda, I love you. And for the first time, I can actually say it and I know I mean it. Whereas before it used to hurt to say it. But you just keep practicing, and never give up on you. Because every day as you chip away, you're going to be a different person in 2 weeks, and in 4 weeks, and in 5 weeks, and you'll notice the difference. And if you're not noticing the difference, then you can ask the universe, why aren't I changing? What is it in me that's holding me back? And when you ask and you truly want to know, you will be given your answer. But sometimes it comes in a very tough form. Like I said, I have a beautiful man in my life who's extremely blunt with me, but that's what I need. And I love it because it's like, wow, I let it go because finally it's been presented in front of my face. I can't ignore it. It's there, it's slapping me. And now I have to look at it. I go through all those crazy emotions of letting it go, and feel fabulous that I let it go. So, you know what? Just be kind to yourself, go through the emotions and let them go. All right, everyone, have a good night. I'm going to end the call now for real. Okay. Sweet dreams, sleep well, and have a beautiful day tomorrow. Good night.